really come down to terms of what he meant. Today we want to look at the creation of additional states. And as a matter of fact, subnational governance, creation of more states is our focus this morning. And joining me on the conversation is, of course, a political analyst and a development expert in the person of Dr. Aliyu. It's good to have you join us this morning.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
You know, that question you asked me, first of all, it almost threw me off balance, because I was thinking, this my boss, he knows I'm from Benue State, so why is he asking? Until I came back to terms, I realized, oh, I'm from Apa State. Well, we're looking at the creation of additional states. There's been a proposal already for the creation of additional 30 to 31 states in Nigeria, additional to the 36 that we have already, and we want to look at the possibility of having that state. First of all, what came to your mind when you saw that proposal?
Right. First and foremost, when I saw 31, I saw impossibility. And why do I say it's impossibility? You know, this is democracy. It's not like military government where states are created by fiat. So the president or the head of state then will just go to the podium and say, today I declare so and so state. But this one called for agitation. But democracy also given for such thing, whereby that's what we call politics. So everybody is politicking, looking for what will be advantageous to them. So as it were, definitely some people are disadvantaged as the states are now. So a good example is even from Benue. We have recalled that it's on one part of the state that is always dominating becoming the governor. It also happened in Kogi until Providence turning the other way around. And you also see that a place like Oyo State, the entire southeast, the entire eastern part of Nigeria only is 100 kilometers in terms of landmass to hedge the whole of your state. And Oyo is one state. We have 5 states in the southeast. So these are the things that we need to look at. So we feel that they have been marginalized, and that's why they are agitating. But the cause of agitating, other that does not even need it, you know, so look at River State and Akwa Ibom. They are looking at Obolo State within them again. So it's funny, but that's how politics give room for. But I will have 31 additional states. It's not possible in Nigeria.
Okay, it's not possible in Nigeria, but then you're talking about marginalization right now.
Right.
If there should be creation of states at all, don't you think you are the one talking about marginalization now?
Right.
And the other people will also tell you they need it, even when they don't need it. But then, do you see the possibility of creating or maybe compensating the people who are marginalized with creation of states? Are you totally not in support of state creation, or you are not in support of creating up to 31?
Right, I'm not in support of creating up to 31. Now, creation of states is becoming a necessity for Nigerians. And if we want to create states, we have 2 problems that we need to look at. First and foremost, the most determining factor for creating states is population. You must have certain numbers, just like the government is. You must have a certain number, certain whatever, before you can have a state. If we could go back to our census, I think we are going to have it this year. We wouldn't know yet.
Just like what you keep saying.
If we have that census, it will tell us that, okay, anywhere you have 2.5 million people, there should be a state. That will now disrespect your tribe, your language. Because this is another problem. You can see some people that are together, but they are not from the same, you know, like example of Kogi State, example of Benue, people are from different tribes. In fact, within one government, there is 2 languages. So we have to start factoring that. If it's population which I think is the best. Population, you know, because population will determine how many hospitals we need, how many education, how many infrastructure. You know, it will give a lot of sense. So for me, it's good to have additional, especially for a state like Oyo State, whereby, you know, it's very, very large, and people are actually not being captured to an extent. Now, when you look at Oyo, look at other states too. I wouldn't say it's only Oyo, but I see that much more up. And you could see that Oyo is even proposing about 2 states. Unlike others that are even proposing 3, 4, that they are not even up to that state. They only propose Ibadan states and Okeogun. Ijesha state. That's what they are looking at. But for me, I think it's a good one. Democracy gives all of us room to speak, and that's why everybody is trying to push for what is advanced. And particularly, also it has a political undertone. So by the time we have conference states in my own state, I can now agitate better to become something. It's made it much smaller, and I can have that power. And that's how politicians are actually thinking. Let us have it small so that we can have the power as expected.
All right, the dominating spirit of politicians is what Doctor is talking about right here. Now, let's look at it now from the political aspect of it. Since you've gotten you've gotten to that lane already. Some persons were of the school of thought that will bring more development to Nigeria, because by the time you have people in maybe a very few kilometers together, you know what their problems are, their locations coming from the federal government, especially now that we have the local government autonomy, is going to go a long way helping the states, the council develop. What do you think about that? Don't you think this will bring development?
Well, definitely it will bring development, but it has to come with a rearrangement. By the time you want to bring more states, that means you have to reorganize other states because of the population wise. So the more we have population to manage, the more we can build. But I think Nigeria is sounding disjointed somehow. I mean, Nigerian government, so to say. We are looking for what do we call it now? Development. This regional development that we're just creating.
Yes.
We are looking at
North Central Development Commission, Southeast.
We're looking at that. For me, it's a negative, it's a no-no for me, because it may lead to secession and to lead to more agitation politically, in terms of geopolitical agitation. Now we are looking at states now too. So it simply means that a place like Southeast that has only 5, we'll be looking at where some people have 7, some people have 6. Why not us also have the same equal state? Meanwhile, the population is not equal. Do you see the gap now? So for me, it will bring development. That means we have to rearrange and make sure we work with population.
Okay, we have to rearrange and work with the population. But right now, one thing about the creation of the states, some Nigerians are saying, well, if these states are created, number one, we are going to have a lot of people go into politics, and because of the unemployment that we have in Nigeria, you see, like I just saw yesterday, someone wrote something on social media, and what I saw on that was media aid to the local government council chairman. That's an employment. Don't you think this will create employment and handle the unemployment situation that we have in the country? Because we're going to have governors emerge. We are going to have National Assembly members, senators from the various senatorial districts of the newly created states. The same so also are going to have governors, House of Assembly members, and this is an opportunity for people to actually partake in their own, I don't want to say have a share in governance, but then don't you think that will curb unemployment, or it's going to increase?
So if we are creating unemployment, that should not be the way to create unemployment, because ideally governance should supposed to be a part-time service for people. I also have a friend who's an SA health to a local government chairman. I'm sure they must have created a salary and part reform to also survive. However, it's wrong for us to take politics as a major source of income. In some other climes, National Assembly people are actually part-time. They don't say they want to do it fully. It is the way that somebody will say, my job is I'm a politician. I was there and somebody was introducing himself, say I'm a politician. And I'll say, how do you a politician? I don't know how politician has become a profession. It's a service that you are supposed to render to your community, to your state, to your country, and it should be for a time frame when you have other things to do. Just like our present president now, he has worked in Shell, he was, just like also our vice president, he worked in a bank before, the senate president. You see all of them are, so you shouldn't say that when you wake up in the morning your business is just politics.
But that's not what the youth of these days.
I agree, because that's a way out for you. That we have seen people that actually survive it. I've seen many people, I can mention 3 of them. They actually were student union in school from school, they come to state assembly. I think Amici from that become governor, from that become minister. It also happened to Dino Melaya. From student union, they become in politics. So even Showore was also saying that he's now a journalist. So we have a lot of people like that who have that pathway. But if you look at it, they are student union. So we also expect that we should have a livelihood. So if we all looking at politics, that space will not take all of us, and Nigeria will not have what we call GDP. It's only the political GDP that we are going to be looking at. So I think we should all have something doing while we do service to our country.
All right, while we do service to our country, we should also have something we are doing. That we made a selling point right now when we're talking about the fact that politics should not be looked at as a career, as a profession, but then should just be looked at as a part-time thing. This is what we're doing now. We're educating Nigeria, because a lot of people, don't be surprised that during how do they call it in nursery school, in schools, career day, what do you want to become? So we tell you I want to become a politician. Because he or she saw them living that. Yes. And they control a lot of things. So. And that's the reason we need to educate the people. But then let's talk about it. What's the picture that has been painted by Nigerian politicians has made it look so, all right, as if politics is a career as it is right now. Is there anything you think can be done to make people believe this is a part-time something and a temporary something that you can do, go back to whatever it is you were doing before, maybe a business, then maybe you contest again. But now they come in there and they want to stay there forever in front of a profession. Is there anything that can be done to correct this impression so that our teeming youths will know that that is not the only way to go and that it is not a profession?
Right, clearly it is not a profession. So and the fact is that we must discourage the benefits therein. I think that's what's causing the problem. When you get to politics, you believe that you have all what you want. You get the money, you get the contract, you get the opportunity, and you think that's the only way. But we must discourage even a national assembly. I wonder why we have two bicameral system when we have the Senate and we have the House of Assembly, House of Representatives. I think we should have unicameral, whereby we can have the 109 National Assembly, whereby things can be done. They can do the work as well. That's what we are agitating for, because most of our money is actually going into servicing them. Remember, a governor will have all the paraphernalia of the local government chairman also have all the paraphernalia. The councillor also will have all the paraphernalia. And where is this money going? It's going to their pocket. So we should look at it and say that yes, there's need for to reduce. And also look at the minister. I think we don't have the highest minister in Nigerian record. Right. So that's another area that we need to look at. There's a ministry that we all can also bring together. And that's why I told people that Ofthe reports can never come to limelight. Because you remember Ofthe said we should reduce our MDs. You recall, as I already said, so we have maybe 350 MDs. Now we have over 1,000 MDs, and all these MDs, all these DG, they have their SA, they have their assistants, and we have created that how do I call it? We have that big space for political players that everybody is thinking. But I know someday people like you who have actually worked in your career exceedingly well should be recognized and say, okay, you have worked well, you've seen that you serve the country, come and represent. And the way you offer service is different from someone who just think it's an opportunity for me to actually do. Perhaps if there is we have seen people let me even use journalists who have actually go for service. After the service, they return to their job. We have seen lecturers who actually go to serve, and after the service, they go back to their classroom. That is how politics should be, whereby you are called from where you actually work. You move to serve the people, and by the time your tenure ends, you come back. Not that you keep on staying there. In fact, it's happening in civil service also. Was it custom? I saw the news, was it this morning? That people that retire refuse to leave the office. I saw someone in the Nigerian police, the guy refused to leave office after he has retired. They start announcing, we have been waiting for today, and you have gone, we are not one of us again. Can you please leave? When you are there, you did not serve us well. And that's how politics should also be. When you don't serve people well, after you leave, please go and stay your profession, not staying put. I think we should reorientate people that politics should be service to humanity and service to your country.
All right, politics should be service to humanity and service to the country, and of course, the consciousness and the mentality that leadership is servanthood. That's what the Nigerian politicians should imbibe. But now, let's come to think about it. What was in the mind? What do you think is in the mind of the people who have proposed this number of states? Is there anything they are looking at, or what do you think could be in their mind or may have instigated this? As a matter of fact, we're just trying to think ahead now.
Well, in their mind, I think it's positive. They think they also deserve to be recognized as a state. They think their benefits will be more. They also think that at least we have been sidelined, because if you look at most people that are actually agitating, they know people at the center. People that are becoming governor in a particular state, in the particular local government that are taking advantage of the state. We never go and say we should want another state, but people that have been marginalized, so to say. And that's why we must look at our politics very well. We must make sure that we do that representation as it's supposed to be. And that's why some people talk about rotational government, whereby if this particular senatorial area produce governor this time, we shift it around that. But whereby one senatorial is dominating in producing the governor every time, other people will agitate. A good example of people in Benin, good example of people in Kogi, in other places, they think development should come to them. I think it is lack of development, equal development, that made people to say yes, we actually want a state. And it's a good one they're asking for. So let's take it to the National Assembly as it is there now. Let us get it debated. On what premise should we have new states? And I knew that would bring about reorganizing the state. If we are going to add even 5 states, the other states have to readjust. And when they readjust, what happens? That means people that are taking advantage might become a disadvantage people. Just like what happened in Kogi. The Galas are in Benin before. When they are in Benin, they are minority. By the time they come to Kogi State, they become majority. You see, and those people that think they are part of it before, they become minority. So, and that's the challenge there that we must be sensitive about. I remember, this is politics. This is democracy. It's not like military, where head of state will say, this is how I want it, and nobody question it. But here, a lot of courts, a lot of issues, a lot of debates. In fact, the way to even ratify such is a process on its own. It has to with local government, state, and national assembly. Not what national assembly only can do. It has to go around, But for me, if you ask me, I think this constitutional review, if they want it to work, they should remove this one from there first. If not, this will take it, and even this 10th assembly cannot achieve it.
This 10th assembly cannot really achieve it. But then, as a matter of fact, we're talking about cost of governance here. Looking at the challenges that the economy is facing right now, Nigeria is going through so much. I believe you must have heard of telco tariff hike. The bank charges, the ATM bank charges, and all of that.
Let me tell you, even the port hike, Port Authority, and FOB hike. So there's a lot of, I think this government is bent on making him more money. So I don't know how they are going to tax people more.
But the fact that this thing is coming from Nigerians who are crying, is something. But then I'm trying to go towards something that is the cost of governance. There's been an agitation for cutting down cost of governance. How well are the states right now doing that? We're even talking about the creation of other states, talking about cutting down cost of governance right now. Is it even possible to cut down cost of governance in Nigeria the way things are?
Instead of us to cut, we're having bloated governance system. If you look at, have you seen those governors passing? You see a lot of convoy that follows them. I think Tinubu has been able to cut them to 4 in Abuja. I was so happy. I've seen like 4 or 5 ministers, only 4 vehicles. I was so it's possible. So I think those governors, they need to start with those governors. Remember, the governor will buy his own plenty of jeep. The commissioner will buy, the SA will buy, the DG will buy, a lot of people will buy. So until you cut the bloated system, that's when we can actually achieve a meaningful government system. I think the cost of governance, if you look at it, take a whole lot from Nigeria as a country, and that's where we need to work more to make sure that we reduce the cost of governance. If we don't reduce the cost of governance, there will not be development. Because, and how do we cut the cost of governance? Have you seen a local government chairman who has about 120 SA? Have you seen it? Then you have a lot of governors who have about 1,100 people working appointed as SC this, SC that, SC grassroots, SC this, SC economy, SC agriculture, like that. So such bloated governance or such bloated governments always use government money, to give those people instead of using it to develop the state, and that's why some states are finding it difficult. In fact, what painful most is that states that are really struggling to really survive are the ones doing it
All right, well, the conversation is around the creation of additional states. We already have 36 states, and there is a proposal for the creation of more 30 to 31 states, where one state will be having additional 3 states, some 2 states, some 1 states, as the case may be. But my guests have been able to establish the fact that that's not exactly what Nigerians need right now. But now, finally, before I let you go, is it possible, all right, is it possible to have one state from because as a matter of fact, every state that feel they are being challenged right now, because some feel they are being marginalized and all of that, almost every state in Nigeria you see a minority. These ones are majority, these ones are minority, these ones are always having upper hand and all of that. Is there any way that issue can be handled so that the issue of we are being marginalized, we need our own state, even though the economy is so challenging that if they create these states, they may not be funded appropriately, and I don't know what may happen. We're talking about this. Remember, we're having security in the land, and you know what's give birth to all of this agitation, of course, like you made mention when we were talking the first time. So what do you think about this? What can really be done to make sure there is equality in all the states? This marginalization of a thing shouldn't be there.
Now, the painful thing is that politics becloud objectivity. So once people are in politics, they believe that everything should come to them. And that's the major problem. And that's why we must be objective in this case. So we are going to look at, like I said, the best way to look at is to look at population, even not land mass, because there could be land mass and there's no people in the land. So we must look at population. So because it is on the basis of population we can create health services, education, university, infrastructure, recreation. That's what we must look at. Because if we don't look at that, people that do not deserve it will have it. For instance, when we look at population, another dilemma we are going to have is that what do we do to a place like Lagos, who have 20 million Nigerians, but the state is very, very small, able to cut them out to another state. And that's why we must look at it critically, holistically, and look at how do we do that. Because there's another argument now that if you look at Southeast have only 5 states. And they are region on their own too. So they say, okay, if Northwest can have 7 states, why Southeast not have it? But the Southeast have the same population and land mass with Northwest. These are the questions we must ask ourselves. So we must come with objective mind in our argument. That's not what is happening now. Because Northeast have Development Commission. Is that not what Southeast is now having? Northwest is having, everybody is now having. Central, so everybody is now having, and the major aim is major delta, because we don't have the similar objective. So now it has been defeated now, because everybody is having it. And there is also minority under minority. Even under Northwest now, we have Wamako, we have Ganduje children becoming the head of that commission. Others are arguing that why should it be them? So for me, even the regional something is uncalled for, because we have states. Why not manage state directly? Let them tell you your problem. But you are creating another bureaucratic bottleneck where some people will be disadvantaged, some people will be also disadvantaged. So we must look at it objectively. In my own mind, if you wake me up and ask which state deserve another state more, I would say it's your state. And because of the population, because of the land mass, everything have reasons. I'm from Kogi State. I'm not saying Kogi deserve, but I'm saying Oyo State deserve because I saw the population. Kogi, I think within ourselves, but even though Kogi is proposing 3, we are proposing Oku, we are proposing Conference State, we are proposing Okura or Okura State. You can see, this is what we need to look at, and we should do it in an objective manner. Another thing we should also look at, I think Akwa Ibom and Cross River are also looking at Obolo State. Now, my own problem there is that they now be fighting for natural resources because now Obolo they have the one that the natural resources in. So that's the means that you come to me, I'll come to you. This one will go to you. It will become another agitation. So in politics or in democracy rather, agitation will continue, but the leadership have to work with objectivity.
Alright, the leadership will have to work with objectivity because agitation, whether you like it or not, will continue. But then, sometimes you'll be tempted to ask questions like, who are even the people proposing the states? Alright, because a lot of people, if you know what people are saying, I was passing somewhere and the people discussing about the states are not even people that are schooled or educated or anything, but they were seriously against it. What they were simply saying is, how good has the states already existing been managed already, that they are talking about the creation of other states. But is it possible for the proposal to just be thrown aside like that? Because whether you like it or not, there might be some people in the house who would want to support this.
Definitely. And that's why I said it's much more politically motivated, because if you look at the conditionalities to even propose, it was so humongous. I was thinking people will not meet it up before I know people have been able to. There's a way you have to draft it, look, and they were able to. But I think Nigeria's situation now is not about population. It's not about states. If you look at the state of California, very big. The more they big, the more they make more money. But Nigeria want to shrink because we want to have the political opportunity. We don't have the business opportunity there, because when you have population sometimes it comes with a lot of a benefit. The state like Kano is enjoying population because when we are sharing anything, it's bad. When we are talking about tax reform, that's part of the argument. That things like Kano, you must consider population in sharing tax. Do you see that? So it's another opportunity. So but if we are undermining that because we want our power, we want our say, we want our own state. Look at the governor Delta. His name is mouthful. Look at the senator that actually decamped to APC. What's his name? Decamped because he also wanted
wanted a state.
I forgot the state he actually wanted.
I call the state and
he also said that's made he said he want a state, and I'm sure the government is negating it. He also said the government is not bringing development to his state, so that's why he's decamping. You could see a lot of things happening. So if that is part of his reason, and Ned Nwoko was part of the first person that agitated for states, I recall, and the state was also mentioned like that. So it doesn't come as just like that. There are people behind those things. It doesn't easy for a poor man looking for him to survive to think of an extra state. It takes about people that have political power to actually ask for it.
Alright, it takes people who are actually looking for this, but then some people are saying even though the existing states already, some of the stakeholders are already smiling and some are not smiling, the issue of local government autonomy, because some persons are thinking this thing is becoming lucrative, and like you said, political undertone interest and all of that playing out. And the CBN, remember, they have asked for 2 years audited account from the local governments, all right, to have things straight before they actually be able, to pay the money straight to the local government council. Is that and someone said, well, there is, the way they have the accountants general, there's always an auditor, even at the local government council. Because I'm saying this because the creation of states and even the existing ones come with a whole lot. Because we're talking about how good this once existing have been maintained and handled. So now, do you see a possibility of all the local government councils in Nigeria presenting, there's a word I want to use, a stainless and spotless two-year audited accounts?
I think it's uncalled for, if you ask me, because the government has not been giving them money directly. So they should rather go to state and states. Please give us statement of account and audited report of the local government.
Government should be in trouble.
That fight should be, because government actually collect the money and share it. In fact, they tell you that. So for me, I think they should allow the government to get this benefit. Tell them onward that as we are disbursing, because I said going to have disbursed, they said to start in January, this is February. So I thought to have disbursed that money so that those people will start working and you start holding them accountable. EFCC is also there for them. Tell them that if you expend the money in an abnormal way, you will be arrested, you will be prosecuted. So I think it's that simple. But for you to see, they should bring an auditor. We want them to go and fabricate, and that's what we end up doing.
But as it is right now, okay, you just said something very vital, that the governors need to be checked, that they are even the one are supposed to be the ones to be checked. But as it is right now, why are they skipping the governors and going straight to the local government council? Because like you said, they've not been funding. They've been funding
the relationship between federal government and the council.
So why are they skipping where they were sending money to?
I think we urge President Bola Ahmed Tinubu alongside the CBN governor to review that, except you don't want to fund them. If you say you insist, they will go and fabricate something for you. Just give them another condition that as you are starting now, we want you to be transparent as much as possible, and also encourage NGOs to start looking at it as a getting money, like the local NGO that are looking at the monitoring. Do you use the money for? In fact, it's even difficult in local government for you to via the money in local government. It's difficult. People are seeing it. I remember being when they are bringing out money to any state, they put in the national daily, and by the time they put the national daily, so why do you even stop doing that? Go and look at the breakdown and see they will be following up. You follow it, you follow education, you follow road infrastructure, you follow this. By the time we all follow those things, they find it difficult to actually via the money or use the money for another. I think that's what government should do, not telling them now that they should go and do audited account. Where were you before? When did you ask for that last? Why is it now? Because
and why not from the state?
From the state, yes.
But I think you said something very vital. They should publish whatever it is that is going to the state governors, the senators, the allocations, what is being meant for the constituency and all of that. It should be in the paper so that the people can do a follow-up. Anybody that's not doing well can be recalled back. As a matter of fact, a very big thank you to you, Dr. Aliyu for being part of this first conversation. The time is already going very fast, but that the conversation is so intense and informative and educative, I couldn't stop it.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
All right, well, we'll go on a quick break. When we return, we'll come on your way with the second conversation. What do you think is going to be the outcome of the governorship polls in Anambra State? INEC, how much trust do Nigerians have in INEC? Because time in, time out, they will tell you we've learned from the previous experience and something better will be coming up. Now, the governorship poll in Anambra State will be the next discussion, and INEC saying they are strategizing to make sure there is no vote buying. Do stay with us. We'll return for more conversations after this break.